Prototyping should not be about technology. Okay, that's a bit of a clickbait title. Ideally, it should have been prototyping need not be about technology. Now, typically, when anyone talks about prototyping, the technology teams usually get very excited and they start thinking about all the bells and whistles that they could add to the product and to the prototype from a technology perspective. But ideally, you need to look at prototyping as a risk mitigation tool. The two biggest risks that a product faces are, one is the demand risk and the second is design risk. Demand risk is essentially that you are developing a product and the product is not solving a really valuable problem and there is no demand for such kind of a solution in the market. The design risk is that there is actually a demand, but the way you have designed your solution, not necessarily from a technology perspective, but more from a user experience perspective, leaves a lot to be desired and customers don't care too much for your product. Now, you need to look at prototyping as a risk mitigation strategy. So first, you need to identify what are some of the biggest risks to the adoption of your product. And prototyping should look at ways to minimize that risk. Now, if technology is in fact your biggest risk, then definitely make it all about technology. But if there are other bigger risks out there, that's what you should be trying to address with your prototyping initiative. One of the best examples that I've seen of a startup trying to address both demand risk and design risk in one go is that of Dropbox. I had done a video about Dropbox sometime last year, and I'll include a link to that video in the comment section. Now, if you've done prototypes as part of your product initiative, I would love to hear your own experiences in terms of how it was and what are some of the risks that you try to address with your prototyping initiative. Thank you for watching and have a good one.